Welcome to day 24 of my 30-day self-love Pilates challenge, and we have made it to the stretch class, so get really comfy on your back and I'll see you there. Coming down onto your back and just start to extend the arms and the legs long. Taking a moment to arrive on your mat. Letting go of the outside world, of any distractions, any thoughts, worries, anything that might not serve you throughout this practice. And simply bringing your awareness to the four corners of your mat, to your internal space. Noticing the subtle rise and fall of your belly as you breathe in and as you breathe out. Bringing the hands to the belly, wherever you are in your breath cycle, can you let it go with an exhale? This time as you breathe in, bring your awareness to your belly as you let it expand, filling up. And let it fall as you breathe out. A few more just like this, really expanding the belly, breathe in, pressing into the hands, the fingers. And as you breathe out, letting everything melt. One more just like this, full breath in. Full breath out. Starting to bend the knees, being as gentle and slow as you can, maybe eyes are even closed, and bring the hands out to a T shape. Now, if you don't have space, you can always cactus out the arms here. But can you just start to knock your knees side to side? The hips can lift a little bit. And becoming a little bit more intentional with your movement, noticing how the body responds to each slight movement. Inhale as you bring the legs back through center and just bring your right ankle over your left, fanning the right knee out as much as you can. You can always use your right hand. And then from here, can the knees come over to the right? Eye gaze to the left. So you're using your right ankle as a bit of an anchor for the left knee. The left hip can lift, but trying to maintain really heavy shoulders. Eye gaze can stay looking at the sky or bring it over to the left. Without force, creating a little bit more space with each breath out. And one more full breath in. And staying for your breath out. Knees come through center as you breathe in and just unravel the legs. From here, left ankle comes over the right, fan the left knee out, and the knees are coming over to the left as you breathe out. Maybe eye gaze to the right shoulder, or can even stay looking at the sky. Without judgment or comparison, simply notice how the two sides feel. Sending them just as much love. Softening into the face and trying to release any tension through the body with every breath out. One more full breath in and full breath out. Knees come back through center. As you exhale, unravel the legs and just start to curl into a little ball. Hands can come underneath your knees or on top of your shins, whatever feels better, but really hug the knees in towards the chest and then lift the forehead,
So the forehead is towards the knees. You might want to give your knees a little bit of a kiss for all their hard work throughout the week. And just start to rock. Maybe it's up and down, maybe it's side to side. You can always lower the head for now if it feels okay. But it's starting to also massage through your belly as you press the thighs a little bit closer. Making this movement bigger, and over time, can you start to rock and roll yourself up and down your mat. Having some fun with this shape. Bring out the sillies. Let's just go one more like this. Coming all the way up and over, crossing the ankles and planting the hands down as you start to find your 4-point kneel. So get really comfortable here. Hands are under the shoulders, knees are under the hips, and your toes are untucked. Drop the belly, eye gaze forward as you breathe in, arching through the spine. And then don't press away from the earth as you breathe out. Continuing in your cat-cow and really starting to explore the in-between shapes, the extremes, noticing where your spine likes to go, and adding any complementary shapes here. I like to close down the eyes, pretend I'm in my own world, or Sheridan world, and just do what makes sense for you. Wherever you are, let's just do one more together. Drop the belly, eye gaze forward, breathe in. And these times you don't tuck the chin to the chest, can you hold? Starting to rock back and forth onto the heels, but staying in your cat position, so doming through the upper back, almost like you're trying to separate your shoulder blades, pulling them apart. Let's just go for 3, for 2. On 1, can you press back into your child's pose, but bring your knees a little bit wider and just start to creep the hands forward. Dropping the forehead, the armpits, letting the belly press up against the mat or the thighs. And really grounding down into your mat or the earth. Inhales, you start to bring your hands to the right. Now they can be together, they can be stacked. And as you breathe out, can you press more into your left palm, keeping your left hip really heavy to get a side body stretch here. It's almost like you're trying to separate the space between the palms and the knees. One more full breath in. And as you breathe out, coming back through center. Inhale, hands come over to the left, either parallel or stacked, and then press more into your palms and more into your right hip as you breathe out here. Deep breath in. As you breathe out, hands come back through center. Can you start to tuck the chin, roll through the chest, connect the toes and lift the toes, open the hips, eye gaze forward, and then start to press back into your wide-legged child's pose. So we're lifting the toes, opening the hips, opening the chest, and then pressing back. Now if this doesn't feel comfortable, you can always just come into a child's pose to open. By allowing the knees to fan out a little bit more, just gives you a little bit more space through your hips to open and close. Let's just do 2 more like this. The last one. And then from here, press back, but start to come onto your belly. So extend the legs long and just make your way down onto your tummy. Bring the hands underneath your forehead and just drop onto your left cheek. You might like to press the hips into the earth and just massage side to side. And then from here, can you extend your left hand out? Now my pot plant is in the way, so we're just going to switch that around. But bring your left hand down and then bring your right hand underneath your shoulder. Can you start to just press yourself onto your left shoulder, stacking the hips like so? Now you can stay here for a shoulder stretch. You can even bend the top leg and tap it over, but really play around with the shape where you feel it. If you prefer, you can bend your left hand. I know you can't see me, but my left hand is like so. You can bend your left hand if you want. And as you find a variation or a shape that suits you, can you stay in the shape in stillness with your breath? One more full breath in. And wherever you are, stay with your breath out. Now if your top leg is bent, stack it on top of the bottom, and then just come back through center, bringing your hands underneath your forehead, dropping to the opposite side, which is now your left, I lie. Now you'll be able to see a little bit better on this side. Can you start to bring your right hand out or bend it? And then we're going to press into the left hand. Rolling onto your right hips, you can stack the legs or you can simply bend the left. Now the left doesn't have to touch the ground, as you can see. You can slightly hover it or you can just keep them stacked. If you start to feel any pinching sensations, simply bring the elbow of the right higher than the shoulder. One more full breath in here. And releasing on your breath out. Bring the feet back together. Coming down onto the belly. But this time, can you start to come into a Sphinx pose? You're going to bring the elbows underneath the shoulders, palms are down, and allowing the shoulders to melt away from the ears, lengthening through the neck. Bringing the feet together, can you press into the toenails, maybe lifting the shins, making a little bit more of an active stretch as you squeeze the glutes. I invite you to soften the gaze or perhaps close down the eyes. And start to notice what happens when you find stillness. If thoughts start to creep back in or wander through the mind, rather than attaching yourself to these thoughts, can you simply be an observer from a distance? One more full breath in. And as you breathe out, slowly just coming back onto the forearms, forehead connects to the palms. And don't worry about squeezing anything or holding anything, just allowing you to melt into your mat. Using this time to check in and to notice how the body's feeling, how you're feeling, not just physically but also mentally, even energetically. Start to bring the hands underneath the shoulders and tuck the toes, and can you press yourself up into a 4-point kneel. Now from here we're going to bring your right knee into the back of the right wrist. And then can you just bring your shin as close as you can to the left hand. Now it can be quite close to the hip, so see what feels better. And then slide your left toes back, so you're opening through the left hip. Walking the hands a little bit closer to the right knee as you sit up nice and tall. You can always use a pillow underneath your right hip to get a little bit more comfort. And feel free to stay here. Otherwise you might even like to come down. Little forward fold, maybe completely down as the belly connects to the thighs. As you find your half pigeon, nice release through the glutes, through the hip, and even through the lower back. And if finding stillness through these shapes doesn't feel good, remember you can always tailor them to your preference. So you can always rock and sway a little bit. But ultimately, I invite you to be guided by your breath. One more full breath in here. And stay for your breath out. If you're in a forward fold, connect the hands to the earth and start to press yourself up. Tuck the back toes and then just come into your 4-point kneel, maybe rocking through the hips, side to side. And as we come into the other side, the left-hand side, can you bring the left knee to the back of the wrist, and then you can use your right hand just to guide your shin wherever you feel comfortable. And then sliding your right toes behind you. Sitting up tall as you creep the hands back towards the left shin. And then if it's in your practice today, come into a forward fold. And remember that every day is different. So if a shape doesn't feel the same as it did yesterday or last time you stretched, letting go of any expectations and just meeting yourself where you're at today in these moments. One more full breath in. And staying for your breath out. If you're in a forward fold, pressing the hands into the mat and just lift yourself all the way up. Start to tuck your back toes, and this time we're coming into a downward facing dog. So press into the palms, lift the back knee, and then start to bring the left leg to meet the right, pedaling out through the feet, right to left to right, whatever feels good. Lengthening through the back of the legs, through the spine. And eventually starting to find stillness. One more deep breath in. As you breathe out, can you start to drop the knees, untuck the toes. Taking a little seat onto your heels and just finding a moment to reset. Hands come onto the thighs. Shoulders melt away from the ears. As you allow the body to down-regulate, allow the breath to become really present, really conscious. Now, if this is a comfortable spot for you, please feel free to stay. Or you might simply like to find a cross-legged position. Personal preference, I prefer sitting cross-legged. So take the time to find your final shape. And if Shavasana, lying on your back, is calling your name, please take it. Listen to those little cues from your body and gift yourself this time just for you. Now, whatever shape you are in, can you start to bring your right hand to your heart and your left hand to your belly? Noticing your breath. Noticing the warmth of your skin underneath your hands. Noticing the energy running through your body. Perhaps this practice has given you energy. Perhaps it's taken energy. But whatever it is, can you honor these feelings, these sensations? Knowing that there's nothing to do, nothing to think. You're exactly where you're meant to be. Press a little bit firmer into the hands.
And as you breathe in, can you really exaggerate, filling up belly, ribs, maybe even chest expands. Exhale as you let everything fall. One more like this, full breath in. Full breath out. Releasing the hands down by your side onto your knees, maybe palms face up. And if you haven't already, closing down the eyes or softening the gaze. As we start to seal your practice, think of one thing you are so grateful for. Think about how this makes you feel. And see if you can let this feeling guide you through the rest of your day. You can start to blink the eyes open. I'm so proud of you for showing up. Enjoy your rest day tomorrow. Your day off, your day for you. And I will see you next week for the last week of the challenge. Mwah.